This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Planet MicroCap Showcase 2018 in Las Vegas. I have with me today Neil Chakravarti of WOW Unlimited Media. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is WOW.A on the TSX-V. Neil, welcome to SNNLive.
Shelley, thanks very much for having me on the show.
It's good to have you. Let's get started with a brief overview of the company, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So WOW Unlimited was formed in December of 2016. We're basically a company that does entertainment for kids and youth, and we do a lot of animated shows and digital channels.
Now, let's get into a little bit of history of the company.
As I said, we started the company in December 2016 by bringing together a couple of companies. Rainmaker, which was a publicly listed company in Vancouver, and Frederator, which was a private company in the animation business out of New York and Los Angeles. We did a three-step transaction on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Number one, we did a three-way stock merger where Frederator and the management company Ezra & Hirsch vended their shares for an all-share merger. Number two, we cleaned up the balance sheet of the company. Rainmaker had $13.5 million of convertible debt, which we converted to common. And number three, we raised $11 million primary equity in the market. So we started the company with a clean balance sheet day one with a net cash position, and we've had 15 months of growth since then.
So in your product line, what's the market size?
So animation is a very large opportunity. Think about it as when the cable business started in the 1980s, we went from 4 channels to 40 channels. And suddenly there was a great opportunity to create lots of content. When you think about present day, not only do you have lots of channels, you have these gigantic online platforms like Netflix and Amazon who literally have unlimited shelf space. So there is tremendous opportunity to create lots and lots of animated series because these guys can take as many good shows as you'll make. As a matter of fact, in the first 15 months of the company, we've delivered 4 shows to Netflix, and we're doing the first show on Amazon already.
Where do you do your animation?
We have 2 studios. We have an animation studio in Vancouver, which is a full-service animation studio with about 350 people. And we have another animation studio in Burbank. Vancouver focuses more on the kids genre, and the Burbank studio does a lot of the kidult genre, as we call it. It's the youth millennial space who have very kid-like consumption patterns, such as video gaming and their traditional animation watchers. So those are the 2 studios we produce.
Competitive landscape.
In the private domain, there's a lot of private companies making a lot of great animated shows. There aren't that many public companies who are small, who are actually creating these spades and shovels, as we call it, for the Netflix gold rush. So we have a scarcity value in the public market when it comes to the kinds of company we're dealing with.
What's the most unique thing about WOW? Besides the name, of course.
Of course. A few things. Number one, WOW has already carved for itself a space as a producer with credibility and track record for these large platforms. Number two, we're very cautious not to use or commit balance sheet capital in making shows. Traditionally, before going to greenlight, we need to ensure that every show that we produce, the cash costs are covered out of pocket before we go for greenlighting. Third, not only are we creating the content, we're also starting to create now digital channels on the back of some very interesting partnerships with telecom giants like Bell Canada. These basically give us a critical advantage in scaling up the business faster than a lot of the other peer group companies, because what we're not doing is taking on balance sheet risk. What we're not doing is taking on infrastructure risk and execution risk from a technology standpoint. We're focusing on what we can deliver best: content, programming, audiences, and brands.
Now, you're a public company, so only tell me what you can. What are some growth drivers?
Well, the business is, we report the business in 2 segments. There's a production and studio segment, and there's a network and platform segment. The production and studio segment typically does work for hire shows and does original IP that we make and license to the Netflixes of the world. In the numbers for the company, From 2016 to 2017, our revenues have gone from about 27 million in 2016. And for 2017, we've given guidance of 42 to 44 million. So that's about 60 to 65% growth year over year. The other side of the growth driver is the networks and platforms business. To begin with, we've started only with YouTube advertising revenues, but we're launching some new platforms now in partnership with Bell and an asset called Verve, which is an AT&T-owned company, which we think become long-term growth drivers on the back of recurring revenues and lots of subscribers.
What's your background?
Well, I started as a CPA, and then I was an investment banker for JP Morgan in New York, in London, in Toronto. I was recruited then to go to India to work for Z Entertainment, which is a large public company, a $10 billion market cap company. Started a lot of businesses for them, channels, and I was global head of strategy and biz dev. Started a few entrepreneurial ventures after that, and then came back to Canada to partner with Michael and Fred and Bob, who I must talk about. They're both my partners and my senior mentors, actually. Michael Hirsch has been in the animation business for 47 years. He's known as the Walt Disney of Canada. He started a company called Nelvana, made it the biggest independent company in the world, sold it to Chorus, started a company called Cookie Jar, sold it to DHX, was executive chairman at DHX. Fred Seibert, our chief creative officer, was the first employee of MTV. Fred was then part of a team that took brand Nickelodeon from number 35 to number 1. Then this team founded Nick at Night, Comedy Central, VH1. Fred was then hired by Ted Turner to be president of Hanna-Barbera, which led to the formation of the Cartoon Network. When he saw YouTube, he started his own network on YouTube and called it Next New Network. And it was so good in helping figure out how to monetize content that Google bought it from him. He also incubated Tumblr from within Frederator. And David Karp, who's the founder of Tumblr, was a protege of Fred. Our other partner is Bob Ezrin, our vice chairman. Bob is a legendary music producer. Produced Pink Floyd's Wall, AC/DC, Alice Cooper, Peter Gabriel, Lou Reed, all the way down to Ludacris and Jay-Z. And Bob's right now doing, I think, Bocelli's new album. So we've got great management pedigree, great Rolodexes. Michael and Fred have together, I like to joke about it, almost 100 years of experience in this world of animation. So we have a lot of goodwill, a lot of credibility. Some of us have global experiences to that. So it's a good team that has helped us put together a large scalable structure very quickly and given us a lot of momentum.
Let's get your website out for more information, if you would.
Sure. It's www.wowunlimited.co.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Chakravarti, WOW Unlimited Media. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is WOW.A on the TSX-V. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Planet MicroCap Showcase 2018 in Las Vegas. Neil, pleasure's all mine.
Thank you very much for having us, and this is a great show you guys have put together, Shelley. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.